11. A permanent punishment. A Brazilian teenager experienced a real-life nightmare in 2017 when two men accused him of stealing a bicycle and tattooed "I am a thief and a loser" on his head in sloppy Portuguese handwriting. The men filmed themselves putting the message on the boy's face, and the video soon began to circulate on social media. It shows the moment his captors forced him to reveal his tattoo to the camera. He ran away at his first opportunity and remained missing for more than a week before his family found him. The teen denied stealing the bicycle and stopped leaving his house because of the ink on his face. While the community rallied around him and even started a crowdfunding page for the tattoo's removal, he also received death threats and was living in constant fear. 27-year-old Mason Wesley Carvalho dos Reis and his friend 29-year-old Ronildo Moreira de Oahu were later arrested in connection with the attack. However, it didn't fix the young man's trauma or the fact that there's a permanent reminder of the experience scrawled across his forehead. 10. Heather Godfrey. 25-year-old Heather Godfrey already had almost 40 tattoos, so she expected things to go as usual when she got the Little Mermaid inked on her leg in 2021. The British charity worker was horrified the next day when the tattoo became scabbed over and she came down with a fever. She was even more alarmed when she noticed the following morning that her skin had become red and swollen. Over the next few days, she broke out in hives and they started to burst open. Godfrey was also in immense pain and was unable to walk on her injured leg. Knowing something was seriously wrong, she went to the hospital where doctors diagnosed her with sepsis and contemplated putting her on an IV. The first round of antibiotics that they sent her home with didn't help. As the pain worsened and her leg continued to swell, Godfrey made 4 more trips back to the emergency room. She said that the doctors who treated her had never seen a reaction to a tattoo like hers, and they didn't know what to do when her condition failed to improve. On her 5th ER visit in 2 weeks, Godfrey was prescribed an antibiotic that finally worked. Even though her leg healed up, her tattoo was damaged in the process. She didn't blame her tattoo artist for the ordeal, but believes that the numbing cream that she applied caused a severe allergic reaction. Godfrey said that she planned to get the tattoo touched up, but that she wouldn't use any numbing agents ever again. 9. Freaky Freckles. An Australian TikToker and tattoo artist who goes by the username Daisy Lovesick made headlines in 2022 after she posted a video showing off some freckles she tattooed onto a client named Michaela. The customer traveled 900 miles to Brisbane for the custom beauty marks, which included a small heart-shaped freckle below her left eye. Daisy seemed proud of her work. In fact, she was incredibly pleased with how the faux freckles turned out. However, commenters were less approving, with some even writing that Michaela's freckles looked like monkeypox. Others wrote that they thought Michaela looked much better with the natural freckles she already had before getting the ink done. In the video, Daisy explained how she mapped out the freckles before she went to work and made sure that the client was happy with the design. She also said that it was common for a customer's skin to be red and swollen immediately afterward, and that she warns people about this ahead of time. The swelling typically goes away within an hour, according to the controversial artist. Regardless of what Daisy's followers thought of her work on Michaela's face, inked freckles seem to be an ongoing trend in Australia. Based on her social media posts, she seems to get a lot of business from customers who walk away happy. 8. Anthony Ray Stockelman. Anthony Ray Stockelman has been behind bars at an Indiana prison since 2006, and he'll remain there for the rest of his life. He committed a horrific murder of a young girl named Katie, and the justice system punished him accordingly. However, someone decided to take justice into their own hands after Stockelman arrived at Wabash Valley Correctional Facility and tattooed the words "Katie's Revenge" on his forehead. News of the unconventional punishment spread after a mother in Ohio, who runs a blog about crimes against women and children, received an email containing a photo of Stockelman's tattoo. The message that came with it reportedly claimed that the person responsible for the forced ink was a distant relative of the victim. It's unclear whether the claim is true, and the woman who received the email declined to identify herself because she's received threats from some of the people she writes about in her blog. Prison officials declined to say much beyond confirming that they had identified an inmate as a suspect, and that 2 guards were fired for making unauthorized copies of an evidence photo. 7. Ridiculous red ribbon. In 2022, a young woman from the US was devastated and left in tears after the tattoo she envisioned was nothing like how it turned out. Known only by her TikTok handle @AlienJars, the influencer explained her experience in a series of social media posts. She said that she wanted to get a red ribbon tattooed around her neck and revealed what looked like a sloppy red child's drawing of a shoestring tied in a knot. The distraught TikToker said she cried for days before she was able to gather herself enough to appear on video. In hindsight, she saw a lot of red flags that she'd overlooked before getting the tattoo. She said the place she went to told her that they couldn't do a tattoo as big as the one she wanted because they were only licensed to do small tattoos. But, as it turned out, the company wasn't licensed to do tattoos at all. The tattoo the woman received was only the 6th one the so-called artist had ever done. The fact that they'd marketed themselves as a tattoo artist in the first place was both deceptive and inaccurate. It left @AlienJars with an extremely unbecoming piece of artwork that's hard to miss and even harder to cover up. Luckily, she managed to squeeze in an appointment with a real artist whom she knew would be able to cover up the botched tattoo nicely. In the video, the woman said that she hopes she can laugh about the ordeal someday, but at the time, she was shaken and upset. 6. Andrew Milne. When Andrew Milne got his ex-wife's initials removed from his ring finger in 2018, he didn't think that they could be replaced with anything worse. However, the cheap laser treatment that the British native opted for left his finger swollen, discolored, and with a huge blister. Milne told news.com.au that the blister grew to about 1 inch long and 1/2 inch high. He said he didn't think the provider did anything wrong, but that he simply had a bad reaction to the treatment. He was told to avoid popping the blister to prevent an infection from setting in. The experience did leave him feeling unsure about whether he'd continue with the laser sessions to fully remove the tattoo, or if he'd just live with what was left of it after the first session. 5. Jessie Carr. After getting her lips tattooed in a blush color in 2022, Australian-based influencer Jessie Carr revealed the shocking results, which appeared to show her lips swollen well past their normal size. It looked as if she were injured or had gotten lip filler injections. The young woman from Sydney explained to her followers that her lips only looked oversized because she'd just gotten them inked that day. She said that the way she looked was perfectly normal for just a few hours after the procedure, and reassured her followers that she expected the swelling to go down. Jessie told her fans that she posted the video because she didn't want them to worry or think that the person who provided the treatment did something wrong. The young woman also mentioned how she got the permanent lip coloring done for free as part of a collaboration. She could have waited a few days before showing her lips off, but she just couldn't wait to reveal them to her followers. Her lips were supposedly even more bruised and swollen before she took the video, so she apparently waited a little while before revealing her transformation on social media. Jessie did admit that the procedure was extremely painful, and she was originally planning to do 3 treatments, but had to stop at 2 because of how much it hurt. Commenters challenged her claims that her lips were supposed to look unnaturally huge afterward, with many saying that it never happened to them after receiving the same treatment. However, her social media posts show that her lips did shrink down to a normal size, proving that the unwanted side effects were, in fact, temporary. 4. A touch-up gone too far. When a social media user from the UK known only as Alina went to get her sleeve tattoo touched up in May of 2022, she found it a bit odd that the artist made her lay in a position where she couldn't see the work as it was being done. They seemed professional enough, so she trusted them, only to deeply regret it later on. After the touch-up was finished and Alina looked in the mirror, she saw that the artist had added random black dots around several of her other tattoos. It wasn't something Alina had asked for, making it apparent that the artist had simply done whatever they wanted. Commenters chimed in with similar horrifying experiences. One social media user said that a tattooist drew dinosaur teeth on their snake tattoo, while another commented on how an artist deliberately messed up her artwork because she disliked the customer. Some people even wrote that their bad experiences or the stories of others are why they've sworn off getting any more tattoos. If nothing else, the unfortunate lesson to stories like this is that many artists either wildly miss the mark or draw tattoos based on what they think it should look like, rather than the actual design. 3. Taylor Garris. TikToker Taylor Garris was furious after paying $100 to get a flame design inked onto her finger, just to have it fade almost entirely within a week. In a social media post in 2022, she revealed the botched art, and the 20-year-old explained that she got the work done at a tattoo parlor in Florida. Photos showed how after just a few days, all that was left was a barely visible outline. At least one commenter wrote that their finger tattoo was still visible and intact years after getting it, to which Garris replied that she thought the artist didn't go deep enough with the needle. In fact, she loved how the tattoo looked at first, but was understandably disappointed when it turned out to be temporary. Other commenters pointed out that finger tattoos sometimes don't hold as well as ink on other parts of the body, but that it should have lasted longer than a week. It's unclear whether Garris got a refund for the poorly done tat, but a lot of her followers recommended at least trying to get one. 2. $10 travesty. If you've ever heard the saying, "you get what you pay for," you might know that there are times when it truly applies to the situation. One TikToker named Tiffany seems to have missed the memo when she paid less than $20 for a tattoo in honor of her grandmother, and it turned out terribly. The artwork, which says "nanny" in sloppy, uneven cursive, looks like a poor attempt at imitating the elegant, smooth script in the design. This isn't surprising to anyone who knows what quality of work someone can expect in exchange for $20. When UK native Tiffany revealed the tattoo to the world in April 2022, many were surprised to learn that she'd already had it on her skin for nearly a decade. She explained that she hated it so much she was starting laser treatments to remove it. Tattoo removal is both expensive and painful. It's also time-consuming and requires repeated treatments which fade the ink over time. From beginning to end, the process can take as long as 2.5 years, with each visit costing hundreds of dollars. The patient also has to take good care of the removal area to avoid infection. However, for those who truly can't stand living with a tattoo they despise and who aren't interested in a cover-up, it's worth it. 1. Donald Murray. When 38-year-old Donald Murray from Indiana decided to lead police on 2 high-speed chases in December 2019, he didn't plan on being on national TV. The encounter was captured on camera and aired on an episode of Live PD, giving viewers across the country an opportunity to see his unique body art and help identify him. After crashing into a tree, Murray got out of his vehicle and ran on foot. He gave the camera a full view of his face full of tattoos, including one that says "Crime Pays." People who tuned into the show called in with tips, and just days later, Murray was taken into custody on charges of resisting law enforcement and reckless driving. He was soon released, and it wasn't long before he got into yet another police chase. This time, officers quickly apprehended him and slapped him with another handful of charges, including methamphetamine possession, car theft, and resisting another officer. As proud as Murray seems to be of his tattoo, he might get away with his crimes if it weren't written across his forehead. Would you rather have a tattoo that's misspelled but looks really nice otherwise, or have a large tattoo of your ex's name in an area that's not easy to conceal? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.